Hi and welcome to the Mum Boss Method podcast. I'm Chrissy Hiller. I am the Mum Boss. If you are listening to this on podcast, thank you for joining me again this week. If you're watching on YouTube, hello, it's nice to have you back. If either way, whatever way you are listening or watching to this, don't forget to hit subscribe. Make sure that you share this podcast if you enjoy it with other people and on your social media, and make sure that you give me a rating and a review. That is what helps to get this message out there. That is what helps other people that need to hear what I have to say and what I have to share with you. That helps them to hear it. That helps them to help themselves. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. So something I hear really often is, I don't have time. I just don't have time, Chrissy, to take care of myself, to put myself first. I don't have time to prioritise myself. And you know what? I'm going to be really honest with you. I have been guilty of saying that myself in the past. I've been guilty of saying that this week. Okay, I'm recording this on a Tuesday. This is going out the following Friday, and it's only Tuesday, and I've said that statement, I don't have time. I've said that this week already. And that is exactly why I'm doing this podcast today, because I had to really challenge myself on what was going on. Now, my I don't have time was more to do with work. It was more to do with some of the things that I've been procrastinating on and telling myself that I don't have time. And it was not until my coach challenged me on it that I realised I actually do have time. And so I wanted to take this into the context of your health, your well-being, your fitness, your fat loss, if that's your goal. But you can take what I'm talking about today and you can apply that to your busy life. So let me tell you a little bit more about what I mean with I don't have time when it comes to things like, exercise for you and your self-care, to plan your meals, to cook your meals, to get out for a walk, to sit down and think about what, plan your week ahead. I hear this all the time. I hear this when I'm speaking to people, whether they are in my programs, whether they're thinking about my programs. They talk about not having enough time to achieve the goals that they really want to achieve. And you know what? For some people, this is 100% true. It's 100% not the right time for those people. Maybe this is you listening now. It's 100% not the right time for you to focus on you, for your health, for your fitness. Only you know if that's the truth or not. Only you know if that's just an excuse. And I'm going to be really honest with you. For me, this week, it was an excuse. And towards the end of last week, it was an excuse. And I'm going to be really honest as well. When I speak to people and they tell me it's just not the right time, I know when they're using it as an excuse as well. I would say 95% of the time, I know when people are making excuses to me. Now, if it's not an excuse and it is 100% not the right time for you to focus on you right now, then I am sending you all the love and all the strength and all the wishes that you need, because clearly some stuff is going on in your life that you need some support with. And well done for being honest about that and really having that conversation with yourself. But for anyone else that this might be an excuse to, that I don't have time, then I think you should tune in, and I think you should really ask yourself some questions. Now, as busy working mums, because they're the people that I help, busy working mums, we have responsibilities. We've got the kids, we've got the house, you might have pets, you've got a job, you've got a spouse or a partner or another half, or maybe you don't. You've got extended family, you've got friends that you're trying to stay in touch with, you're trying to have a social life, you're trying to have some adult time. I'm not exempt from this, okay? I am not sitting here as this shining example to you of someone who has all the time in the world or gets her priorities right all the time. As I've already said to you, it's only Tuesday and I've already made this excuse this week. Me and my husband, we both run our own businesses. We have a 12-year-old son who does a lot of out of school activities. We've got a dog that needs a lot of walking. I have to say that because he's in the room, and if I don't spell it, he will want to go now. I've got a house to run, I've got shopping to do, I've got food to cook, I've got washing to do, clothes to get dry because I don't have a tumble dryer, all of that stuff. Plus, I've got friends that I want to see because I really don't see them enough. And I've got my extended family outside of this house that we want to spend time with. I am busy. I get it. And, this isn't a competition of who is more busy than the other. I'm busy, I get it. But it is a conscious effort for me to choose to move my body and make good food choices. I choose to prioritise that over things like Netflix and scrolling social media. I choose to prioritise my health and my well-being over those other things, over the Netflix, over TV, over scrolling. Well, TikTok is probably the worst one for me, over other things. That is what I choose to prioritise. And I want to be really clear. I am choosing my health. I'm choosing my health as the priority over the dress size, body fat, scale weight, or, thinking about what I'm going to look like on my summer holiday. I'm choosing my health. Okay, I'm choosing to live the healthiest life I could be. Yes, I absolutely started on this journey before I started my business because I wanted to lose body fat. But as I talk about often, it becomes so much more than that. That's for another podcast. Now, many of us wear business like a business. No, many of us wear busyness, not business, like a badge of honour. How are you? Oh, busy. Everything all right? Yeah, just busy. How many times do you say, yeah, busy to people when they ask you how you are, or you first speak to them on the phone or text message, or, maybe you haven't spoken to someone for ages and you message them and you say, I'm sorry, I've been so busy. It becomes a badge of honour. It's a bit like the how many hours sleep can you survive on thing. Everyone is busy. The world is busy. Okay. But we create this mindset of busy that's almost like a pre-excuse that gives us this get out of jail free card. What is wrong with me today? Get out of jail free card from taking the action. Oh, I can't do that. I'm too busy. I've not been able to do it. I'm too busy. And as I said at the beginning, for some people, this is absolutely the truth. For some people, life is too busy, too overwhelming, too pressurized for them to actually take some action at the moment. If I go back a couple of weeks to when my father-in-law passed away and we were trying to get through that period of initial shock and grief whilst both trying to run businesses and look after each other, I had to just take a couple of weeks break from the gym. I just walked the dog. Did you notice how I whispered that? That's all I did, because that's all I could manage for a couple of weeks. And that might be the case for you. But I want you to hear something. Choosing to prioritise your health doesn't mean you have to add more to your list. It doesn't mean you have to add more to your day, another hour awake, or another thing on the list of things you have to do every day. What I am suggesting you do is challenge yourself on what is going on in your life right now. That's what I'm suggesting. And I want to give you a couple of examples. So the first one is one of my clients, Jess, who is, I've known her for a long time, and often, and I say this with love, whenever I've spoken to her, she tells me how busy she is. She works full time. She's got 2 children. She has a husband who does shift work. And yeah, she absolutely is busy, and she's working with me at the moment, and she was finding that life was just really overwhelming. So rather than give her more things to do, we stripped it back. We stripped everything back, and we decided what should be the one thing she could focus on for the next couple of weeks. And she decided that the thing she needed to focus on was her sleep, was to get good quality sleep. And that was because being tired had such an impact on everything else. Being tired meant she was more likely to get a cab to work than to walk. Being tired meant that she was more likely to order a takeaway than to cook. Being tired meant that she was more likely to just sit at her desk and eat her lunch rather than get out for a walk. Okay? And then the second thing I challenged her to do was to look at all of her responsibilities, to write them all down, and to see what she could really get rid of. Because this is something that my coach did with me when I first left corporate and started my business like fully on my own without running it alongside my corporate job. My example there was, I used to be a scout leader. I used to do scouting in our village, and that was every Thursday night for about 2 hours, but then there was also the planning that went along with it. And he said to me, you know, I understand that you do this and it's important to you, but I think at the moment you need to put that on pause. And that's what I did, because I just couldn't prioritize my business if I was doing that. And what Jess came up with is that she is the chair of the PTA at the moment, and that is actually, like, this week alone she's got an evening PTA meeting and a morning PTA meeting to fit into her week and her job. And she'd already identified that she needed to step down from that role because she never really wanted it in the first place. And whilst that made her feel really uncomfortable because she didn't want to let anyone down, actually it was taking time away from her family, and she was letting herself down and her family down because she was using time and energy on something that she wasn't really able to commit to anymore. So that's one client example of where we've not added anything to the list. We've just stripped it all back and made it really simple. And that's what I'm challenging you to do. Now, this term busy really creates this need for a quick fix. And you'll hear me talk about there being no such thing as a quick fix in this world of health, fitness, and fat loss. Okay. But because lives are busy, because people are busy, the dieting companies and the marketing people, they know that we all want something that is quick and cheap, right? So because we're all busy, we want something that we can do really quickly and it can just be done in minimal time. We want the shortcuts. We want the cheat codes for everything. And if it's done, you know, in our minds, if it's done quickly, it will be done and dusted really soon, and then we can move on to something else. But it's really counterintuitive, because the habits and the behaviours that lead to success in any area of your life, and I'm not just talking about health, fitness and fat loss here, I'm talking about in business, I'm talking about in your career, I'm talking about in life. If you want to build habits and behaviours to make you successful and progress, they will take time, patience and consistency. You know, one salad for dinner does not a skinny person make. Not that we all want to be skinny, I don't like the term skinny. One burger will not a fat person make. It's about consistency. Going to the gym once does not make you eligible for CrossFit competition. I mean, it might be, but I don't think it will. You know, it is about repeating and building these habits and behaviours and not trying to have this quick fix. But this busy mindset has led us down this road of thinking that's the only way of doing it. So, as normal, I've got some tips for you, and I really, really want you to take these away and try and implement them. Okay, so there's 3 tips. The first tip that I've got for you is to use your calendar. And if you don't currently use an electronic calendar, I want you to start using one. Okay, so make appointments with yourself. My calendar is not just full of my client appointments and my business meetings. I put in there the days that I'm going to the gym. I put when my husband's going to the gym. I put in there walking the dog. I put in there when I'm taking my lunch break. I put in there when I'm going to prep the dinner. I know not to take any client meetings after 4 p.m. because that's the time that Charlie gets home and I want to spend time with him. Everything goes in my calendar, okay? Make an appointment with yourself to do the things you want to do. The second part of that is if you have a significant other in your life, invite the significant other to the things that will have an impact on them. So, for example, I am invited to Tom's PT sessions, not to physically actually go, but I'm invited because when he started them, he just wanted me to remind me that on a Monday evening and a Wednesday evening, he would be at the gym at a PT session. On a Thursday night, he goes to the gym with his friend. On a Friday morning, when I get back from the gym, he goes off to the gym. And they're in both of our diaries so that he knows when I'm in the gym, I know when he's in the gym. So just like you would a night out, okay? Take this as seriously as a business meeting. If you work in a job where you regularly have meetings in your diary, take these as seriously as that, okay? I'm not going to go down time management here because I think that's a whole other topic, but don't just go, oh, well, it's in my diary and I'm not going to do it. That was my problem last week. I had things to do in my diary. I'd not really thought about how long they were going to truly take me. I'd put far too many things in there and then I just ignored all of them. But take these as seriously as if you had a doctor's appointment. You can't just not turn up. But please, if you don't use a calendar, I urge you to use one and put everything in it. Okay? Second tip for you is about building your habits slowly. So we all try to go from 0 to 0, from 0 to 100 in 0.5 seconds, right? I haven't been to the gym for years, right? I'm going to go and do 6 gym sessions this week and then wake up on Sunday and we're in agonising pain and we wonder why we can't get up and go again. Or we don't regularly go for a walk on a daily basis, so we decide we're going to go for an hour's walk every day and then wonder why we can't fit anything else into our day. No, if you don't do these things, start slowly. Start at 2 gym sessions a day. Start at a 10-minute walk every day. If you're not used to prepping 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, start with just prepping breakfast or just prepping a couple of dinners. You don't need to do everything immediately and it doesn't always need to be 100%. So build your habits slowly because just like having a modest calorie deficit, that is what's going to make them sustainable and stick. And the third one is about challenging yourself. And I quite often do this with people in group sessions, and I'm going to encourage you to do this yourself. I only know how to do this on an iPhone, and I'm doing it so those people that are watching me on YouTube can see I'm doing this. So on an iPhone, I know how to do this. I'm sorry, I don't know on Android, but you can go into settings, you can go into screen time, and you can look at your screen time average on a daily basis, right? So my daily average screen time is 3 hours 43 minutes, which is 44% down from last week. Okay. And that, considering my job is mainly social media and app based, I'm really proud of, because I've worked really hard not to be on my phone all the time. And if I go into see all activity on my iPhone, I can see what that is broken down by the apps that I use the most. So the most used for me today has been True Coach, which is where I store all my workouts so I can see what I'm doing when I'm at the gym. WhatsApp, I've used that for 25 minutes today. I've used my calculator for 6 minutes, my Google Calendar for 6 minutes, my other gym app for 4, my client contact app for 3, and I could go on but I won't. And then it will tell me all the different, you can analyze. I urge you to do this for yourself. Go into your phone and look at your screen time, okay, and really think about this. You know, I asked this in my free Facebook group the other day, and there were really varying answers, 1 hour to 8 hours to more hours. And some people said, you know, it's 8 hours, but my phone is my job. Some people are like, oh, 6 hours, that's way too much. I want you to challenge yourself. Are you sitting, scrolling social media, looking at other people's lives, wishing your life was like that, but doing that for 3 hours a day? Then don't tell me you don't have time. Okay, that sounds really harsh, but I'm being honest. And then the other thing is things like Netflix, things like Prime, all of those things that, you know, when we binge watch our series. Look, I am not opposed to a series at all. I love a bit of TV, but I really don't sit and watch it very regularly. Me and my husband have a couple of TV programs that we watch together, but I wouldn't say that I watch TV every day. I enjoy having something on Netflix whilst I'm cooking the dinner on my iPad, but I choose to prioritise other things in my life, such as my health, cooking healthy dinners, walking the dog, spending time with Charlie, over sitting down, and my sleep. Sleep is huge for me. You know, I could sit up till midnight watching, what am I watching at the moment? Physical 100, and I'm catching up on Bridgerton. I could sit up till midnight and watch these things, but I would prefer to have more sleep. So that is my priority. Sleep is my priority over Netflix. So I really challenge you, if you're watching, you know, more than one episode of your favourite series a night, I challenge that is taking up a lot of your time. That is taking up a lot of your time where you could be using that time elsewhere on the things that you're currently telling yourself, not even telling me, telling yourself you don't have time for. Okay? Now look, of course, this is all up to you. I'm just here to give you a bit of insight and to challenge you and to give you some things to think about. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to think that I'm right. You don't have to think that you should spend less time looking at Instagram or TikTok or Netflix. This is just something I'm noticing, something I get told a lot or I hear a lot, and something I challenge my clients on a lot. And so I thought I would share it with you. And by the way, I started this by saying, you know, last week I really told myself I didn't have enough time, and I sat down and really challenged myself on some of these things. And yesterday, so Monday, was the first time I ticked off everything on my to-do list for an age. So it works to just ask yourself the questions. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please, as I said at the beginning, share this and give me a review and some stars, hopefully 5. But I will see you next week. Thank you. Bye.